and find your ball. I've got my toe correctors on today, blue, and I have my blue ball. So I'm like all like matching. And find a foot. You decide. We're going to keep whatever ball you have, we're going to keep it as a ball. Okay, so I've got it on my left foot here. I've stepped back a little bit with my right foot, and I also widen up, okay, because that will activate your low belly better. And remember that front foot that has the ball, the knee should be bent, okay? So if you can, your hands are on your hips. They could certainly just be on your sides helping you to see what feels good. I am rolling forward and back. And every time you roll forward, spread your toes and try to lift them up towards your face, okay? So don't go so fast that you can't feel that. So what we're doing when we do this is so many things. We're working on knee health, we're working on the hips, but we're also working on the back when we work under the foot, okay? Now, bring the ball, and I'm gonna turn sideways, bring the ball to just in front of the heel, okay? So you can kind of feel the heel a little bit, and all your toes are spreading down, and then step back with the other foot for your whatever feels good for you. And if you can, your hands are on that front knee, which is bent, okay? Now I want you to just hold here, and as you're holding here, there's a pressure going downwards, and the back foot, there should be a pressure pushing down through the heel as well, okay? So we've got two different things going on here. We're actually approaching the low back in two different ways. Hold here, breathing. You could also have your chair in front of you if this feels a little off stable. Now, can you start to roll that heel side to side, just little rolls? It does not have to be big, okay? Just little bits. And that's saying hello to your ankles. Ooh, and it's also really activating, believe it or not, into the pelvic floor. And then step away. And before we do anything, let's just move a little bit before we bring the ball to the other side and roll those shoulders. Ah, that feels so good. Okay, other side. So same idea, we're gonna start with rolling the front foot, and I keep that knee bent, okay, a tiny bit or a whole lot, it's up to you. I keep a space between both feet. You can see a width here, which is helpful for not only activating the low belly, but also for your stability, okay? Now for me, this side is definitely a little more tender. And remember, every time you press forward, you're spreading your toes and you're trying to lift them up towards your face. That's the tricky part. Okay, then I'm going to turn sideways just in case you have to have a look. So take that ball just in front of the heel. Once again, step back. So it doesn't have to be really far back. You decide, can you square off your hips to the front? And then put those hands on the knee if you're able to. And I want you to press straight down. As you're pressing straight down with the front foot, especially the heel, try to press the back heel down also. It doesn't even have to be all the way to the mat, but see if you can, and just notice what you're feeling. You should be feeling things up your leg, the back of your legs, into your glutes. Some of you will feel it into your low back. And breathe here. Then start to do just small movements side to side with just the front foot. Just think about the heel, side to side movements. This is releasing old adhesions and sprains to the ankle. Oh, that feels so good for me. And then step away again. And let's once again move those knees. Oh yeah, and shoulders as well. Then pick up that ball, say good morning to your hands, okay? I see all of you, it's awesome. And go ahead and spread your fingers. And if you've got the neuro ball, you know, it's got little nubbins, right? And so that is really activating throughout the nervous system up into the brain. So cool. And go ahead and try to roll on the palm side to side. closer to the wrist. And other side, for me, this right hand, the thumb is always a little tight, and just working into that area and then come back. So I've got my feet apart and slightly turned out. That looks good. Okay, and let's just kind of clasp around that ball. And on an inhale, lift up, bringing elbows towards each other. And as you exhale, open the elbows, bend the knees deeply, tuck the chin round the spine. And then inhale, come all the way back up, elbows towards each other, and try to look upwards. And let's do that again. Bend the knees, tuck in with the chin, round the back, and come right back up. A big inhale. And as you exhale, try to really pull the belly muscles in towards the spine. And we're going to do 2 more. Inhale up, exhale. And here comes the last one. Come up. Now bring it right back to center. So for me, some days I can't get those elbows together. Like today, there's about an inch before they'll come together, but I'm not going to push it. And let's do circles. Focus on the elbows. Keep the knees slightly bent and try to circle. This is for those shoulders. And then other direction. Try to circle. No sharp pain. Oh, yeah. And release. Keep a hold of the ball. And let's pick up those shoulders, roll them back and down. And again, pick them up, a deep breath in, exhale back and down. One more time, really big, and back. Okay, let's go to the neck. Let's take the ball to right where the shoulder meets the neck. Now lift that shoulder, drop the side of the head so you're squeezing the ball. I hang on to it, it's up to you. And let's start to roll the head forward and back. Take your time here. Don't rush this. Now let your jaw just kind of hang open. We're actually right at the back of the backbone of the jaw there, behind the ear, and just a little bit more. And then come back up. Whew. And let's go to the other side. Today is Juneteenth Day. Isn't it neat that it's recognized now finally in our country as a holiday? And let's go ahead and squeeze and then roll at the same time. Uplift. And do their best. That's what freedom is all about. And then come back up. I just had a big click. Okay, so let's get rid of that ball. Before we come down, like I said, we're going to come down to the mat. Have your feet about hip width apart, maybe a little more narrow, and we're going to pretend we're walking. So we're just lifting one heel and then the other, and you're pushing the knee forward, and use your arms. Yeah, like you're really trying to get somewhere. And every time you pull an arm back, you're really pulling it back. So we're trying to work on activating the back of the body. And release. And let's take our palms together. And let's just take a moment, some nice, easy breaths here. And then on an inhale, reach up really tall. And again, inhale. And one more time, deep inhale. A piece of gratitude here. We got to wake up again. We get to take some time, some effort in this world to help others. Okay, so we're gonna easily as possible. And then I've got my long elastic. You could certainly use a strap, okay? I'm gonna round and roll myself all the way down onto my back. There, adjust my ponytail. So before I use the strap though, I'm just gonna put it to the side for a moment. Widen up your legs at least as wide as the mat, if not wider, and slightly turn them out, just slightly. Take the arms away from the body and have your palms upward. So your knees are bent. I want you to just take a moment here. This is a great way to cool the body in the summer. Then start to do really easy windshield wipers, okay? So don't try to push the knee all the way down unless it's going down with ease. Your head drops to the opposite side every time your knees come down to the other side. The inhale is to center, the exhale to one side, and then the other. And I just want you to just notice the sides of the body. We all know that yoga and yoga practices are about self-awareness, right? Bringing in that awareness of what's going on right now. And then come back to center. Let's walk our feet towards each other and then bring both knees in. So you have a choice. You can have your knees apart or you can have them together. And then take your hands on your knees and start to do circles. So I've got my feet touching and my knees touching, but see what feels good for you. And you're circling around that sacrum. So when we massage that sacrum, it's so good for the low back. And then other direction. Make sure your chin is slightly tucked. And then come back to center. So we're going to take the left foot back down onto the mat, or if your low back feels okay, drop the left leg all the way down. Clasp around the right knee or behind it, okay, whatever works for you. And on the exhale, pull that knee in, chin stays tucked. And on the inhale, pull it away so much that the shoulders lift off the mat. Exhale, pull in again, tucking chin. Inhale, pull away, the head tips back a little. And let's do a few more times on your own. So this is, of course, amazing for digestion, but it's also really good for the one side of the back and right up to the shoulder. And we got one more here. Now, for you. And then release and straighten that leg straight up to the ceiling, okay, as best as you can. Clasp behind the thigh, the right thigh, okay? You could clasp behind the right knee too, either way. And then push that straight leg into your clasped hands while pulling your hands towards your face. So it's an isometric. And your toes are spread and coming towards your face. And just breathe here. So if you need to have a look at me, just take a peek on the screen. So we're holding an isometric. This is so good for arm strength, of course, but also really working into the leg and the back. And then let that go. Release your hands and bicycle both legs. Oh yeah. Okay, other side. Drop the right leg, clasp either around the left knee or behind it. What's easiest for you? And here we go. On the exhale, pull in deeply, chin is tucked. And on the inhale, pull away till the shoulders lift off the mat and continue. So now we're on the other side, and we're also on the other side of digestion. This is actually working to massage the stomach and some of the descending colon. Oh yeah, that feels so good. And let's just do two more. So we're getting ready now. Here we go. We're getting ready to pull in deeply for your comfort. and hold. And just let the foot relax and just hold. Chin stays tucked. Back of the head is down. And then let that go. Straighten the leg straight up. Clasp behind the thigh if you can. And start to push that straight leg into the hands while pulling the hands towards your face. Isometric, you should feel that sense of tension, a sense of tension through the whole leg and through the arms, shoulders. Now, pull the toes towards your face. Oh yeah, look at that foot. And then let it go. And we're gonna bicycle arms and legs, really big. Okay, and feet come flat. Now let's find our long strap or elastic and put it around your right foot. And if you can, usually at this point you can, drop your left leg straight down. Now go ahead and find where you can hang on to this strap while pulling the backs of the shoulders right down to the mat. So I have a bit of a bend of my elbows. That's what you want. So whether you've got a yoga strap or an elastic, and then try to push that heel straight up and try to pull those toes towards your face. Oh gosh, that feels so good for me. Now, can you start to bring that straight leg in closer to your face? It might just be like a 1/4 inch. Keep the back of the head down, chin is tucked, breathe here. Then take that strap just in the right hand. Left arm out to the side, and let's open the leg out to the right and the head to the left. But don't let your left hip come up. So check in with it. You can put your left hand on your hip and see if it's popped up and pull it back down to the floor. And the best way to do that is with an exhale, because every time you exhale, you're actually strengthening deep into the belly and in the pelvic floor. Now try to push that foot bottom towards that side wall, breathing here. Saying good morning. We're enlivening the legs in order for the spine to be more comfortable, and then come back up. And let's switch hands, okay? Take your right arm out to the side. Now remember, as we come over now to your left, your right hip lifts up and you're taking that hip over and that leg over. You're trying your best to have your right big toe about equal to your left shoulder. That's hard to do. Breathing here. So I never can get my right foot all the way to the mat. Some of you might be able to, but I want to keep my right shoulder down. Try to relax your face. Push the foot bottom into that side wall, or, you know, as though you can. And then come back up. Woohoo. Okay. Keep that leg straight up. So we're going to choke up now, choke up on the strap. Take a big inhale, blow out hard and lift your chest and head. Tuck your chin. Let your forehead come towards your knee. Take sips of breath here. You're pulling the navel to the spine, and come back down. Both feet come into the strap, but have some space. So I've got about 6 inches between my feet, and then both legs are straight up. Now for me, my right leg feels longer because we just released a whole bunch of tight muscles and tissue. And just hold here, pressing the heels up to the ceiling and pulling elbows down towards the mat. And then let's go to the other side. Drop the right leg, adjust the strap around your left foot. And once again, straight leg as best as you can. You're pulling on that strap, elbows are bent. Now start to bring that straight leg in closer to your face. For me, it really is maybe an inch more. Okay, I'm not trying to hurt myself here. Nice deep breaths. Then hold that strap with your left hand, right arm out to the side, and let's take the journey. Leg comes over to the left, head to the right. One side could be so much different than the other, okay? So for me, this side feels tighter in the inner thigh muscle, and that's okay. Don't let the right hip come up. Instead, focus on long exhales, strengthening your body while stretching it. Push that foot bottom towards the side wall. Try to relax your face. So much to think about here. Hastapata Gustasana series, such a good series. And then come back up. We're not quite done though, right? We have to switch hands. And here we go. We're going to pick up that hip as we take the leg across the body. I bring my right elbow down to the floor. My elbow's bent. And then I decide how much deeper I can go. Your head goes to the left. Try to keep that left shoulder down. So you should feel the squeeze through your belly muscles. Push that foot bottom towards the side wall. This can be the real work here. This is the real work. The IT band on the side of the body gets so tight. And you might be getting some little clicks up your spine. And then come back up to center. Woohoo! Okay, let's choke up on that strap. Here we go. Take a deep inhale, blow out hard. Lift your chest, lift your head, tuck your chin, pull in that knee towards your face. Try to hold here, little sips of breath, and come back down. Both legs again come into the strap. Widen up. Now I'm a little wider than last time. So I'm about 10 inches, about 10, 12 inches wide with your feet, holding the strap or elastic with both hands and pull, push heels up, towards toes towards face, tuck your chin. If you've got the elastic right now, you're pulling really hard here to attempt to get your elbows to touch the mat. Mine don't. Hold and breathe. And release. Woohoo, let's get rid of that elastic and let's bicycle. Really big. Arms and legs, really big. And then both feet come flat. Feet come as wide as the mat again. And slightly turned out, arms out, shoulder height, palms up. And let's do those windshield wipers again. And I want you to just notice, do you have any more freedom? Do you have any more freedom? So freedom, right? Freedom is such a big term. Oh my gosh. Freedom means so many things. And right now, we're talking about freedom in the body. And then come back to center. Keep your feet wide, bring your heels in a little closer towards your butt. Take your arms by your sides, palms up, push the backs of your arms firmly into the mat. And on the inhale, lift up to bridge. Stay there, hold and breathe. Can you clasp underneath? Some of you can, and roll your shoulders under. So this is so good for breathing. Try to breathe right down in through those lungs, especially I know several of you have had COVID, and we want to really try to get the lungs to be as open as possible. And then come back down. And let's bring those knees in again. And you can just rock side to side a little bit. We're not quite done here though. We still got some more motion here on our backs. So we're going to put the left foot down and cross the right ankle over the left knee, okay? And then bring both knees in towards you as you take your right arm between the thighs and either clasp behind the left knee or around the left knee. But don't let your head pull backwards. So chin is tucked. That'll tell you where you can clasp. Now, try to pull your left knee towards you while using your right elbow to push your right knee away from you. Oh, yeah. So this is a reverse pigeon pose, also called four square. And this is so good for the hips and the low back. And just breathe here. Now, if you want to go a little deeper and just experience it, take your hands behind that left knee and straighten the left leg straight up to the ceiling. Spread your toes towards your face. And once again, pull that leg in towards you while pushing the right knee away from you. Oh. And release, and we'll bicycle again, just your legs. Just feeling the shifting that's going on in this body while we relax the spine. And let's go to the other side. Other side, you know the drill, get in place. And for me, this side is not as happy to open my hip for whatever reason today. And I'm just welcoming whatever that's about and just breathing with it. That's probably the biggest part of these yoga practices, is to welcome whatever's coming so that you can then make the shifts, you know, learn with awareness. Now, if you want to go deeper, go ahead and straighten that right leg. Try to relax the back of your neck, your face, and release. And let's bicycle again. Now, both feet come flat. This time, and I've got my legs wide apart again, as wide as the mat or even wider, and feet are slightly turned out. This time, every time we come up into a bridge pose, our arms are going to come overhead behind us. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, lift, hold your breath. Exhale, back down. That's slowly. Again, inhale, lift, use your heels. Exhale, back down. Let's do 2 more times. Take that inhale, lift, arms are wide behind you. Exhale, down. Here's the last time. Lift up, hold, and breathe. Let the arms be nice and wide. Now work through the heels. Work through the heels. Nice, easy breaths here. And come back down. Once again, hugging in, rocking, just little bits. Okay, we're coming to our yogi push-up, our yogi abs, okay? Feet come flat, hands come behind your head. Remember, we're working with the chest and we're trying to keep the head last, and I'll talk you through it. So before we even begin, can you open your elbows possibly all the way down to the floor? It's okay if you can't, but just feel that. Now take a big inhale. And on the exhale, lift your chest first and then your head. Inhale, back down. Again, exhale, chest and head. Inhale, down. 4 more like this. Remember, going slowly is what really gives you the muscle tone. We're also working with lungs here. Whenever you get to the 4th one, you're going to continue for 6 more. So you can keep your feet where they are, or you could lift them off the mat, or you could lift them straight up to the ceiling. So I'm going for next level. You decide where you're going. If it feels good, you can always go all the way up, legs straight to the ceiling, but don't change the formation of lifting the chest before the head. And let's do 3 more wherever we're at. So you know you can always modify for what you need today. Here comes our last one like this. Now listen to my instrucciones. Okay, head is down, elbows are wide. Pull your left knee in towards your chest and lower your right leg till it's just off the mat. If that's too much, put it right down to the floor. Here we go. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift your right elbow towards the left knee, chin is tucked. Inhale back. Again, exhale. Inhale back. Do 4 more. You want deep exhales in order to really strengthen around the front of the back. And here we go. 1 more. Hold in place. Chin is tucked. And come back down. Both knees in. Just hang out here. Elbows are wide. Hands are holding your head. Head is resting. Here we go. Other side. Keep the right knee in and take your leg to where it's just hovering off the mat. It should be like 2 or 3 inches. That's hard to do though. So remember, you can always change. Here we go. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale back. Continue 5 more. It's a long exhale to really work all the fibers of the belly. We're coming into our last one and we're going to hold. Hold there. Little sips of breath. And come back, both knees in again. Oh, that's so challenging for me. Oh my gosh. Let's straighten both legs straight up to the ceiling. Pick up your head a tiny bit with your hands and stretch the back of the neck. Just stretch it and put it back down. Release your hands, fold your knees in, and just rock. Okay, so now we're going to take both knees towards the chest. So this is the full Apanasana. It's not easy to do though, so you could have your knees apart if that feels better. Ideally, they're together. That's challenging to do. Pick up your head, tuck your chin, and then wrap your arms around your knees, ideally getting a hold of opposite elbows, but you could hold knees separate. Chin stays tucked. Now, keeping the chin tucked and the knees pulling in, can you drop the back of your head down? And can you drop your tailbone just a little bit? And let that go. And let's just bicycle. And feet come flat, hands come to belly. And just take some nice, easy breaths right into the belly. If your neck is bothering you at all, just let it turn side to side slowly. Take 2 more nice deep breaths into your belly. Then bring your feet closer to each other and closer in towards your butt, okay? And we're getting ready to come up again for another bridge pose. So bring it up, clasp under if you can, or at least roll your shoulders under and really stabilize your arms. Now holding this pose, some of you and most of you I know can lift your right leg straight up. Don't let the right hip drop at all. Hold here breathing. This is a lot of work for the low back and the belly muscles. Then bend the knee and slowly put that down. Whew. Other side. Holding there. And slowly bend the knee. Put the foot down. Adjust yourself for a bigger bridge pose. And then come all the way down. And once again, just rock, just easily. just easily. We're coming into our final of this little set here. Okay, so feet are still close together. We're going to cross the right knee tightly over the left. Okay, arms are out to the sides, shoulder height, knee down twist. So lift your butt, take it to the right and plop it back down. Okay, then drop your knees to the left so you're on the side edges of your feet and turn your head to the right. Try to drop your right shoulder down. Palms are facing up. Now breathe into your navel. Just breathe into your navel center. Slow the exhale. Rotations are so good for the back. And of course, this is really good for sluggishness with our digestion, especially in the heat of the summer. And come back up, adjust those hips. Let's bicycle tiny bits. And then we have to go to the other side. Cross over tightly, pick up your butt, put it to the left and down, and then drop your knees to the right. And then turn your head to the left. So for me, this side's a little tighter this morning, and I'm just welcoming it. I'm welcoming the seeking of freedom in my body. So one of my teachers, Joseph LePage, talks about that idea of when you have a sense of freedom through the body, there's a sense of ease. There's an ease in the mind. So breathe here a little deeper. And then come back up, release, let's bicycle, and let's take our happy baby pose, whatever that is for you. So it could be rocking and holding your knees like I'm demonstrating. It could be holding ankles, feet bottoms towards the ceiling, still rocking like a baby. It could be holding toes or side edges of feet. Oh, that feels so good. And for those of you who want to, it could be straightening your knees and holding the static pose. Shoulders are down, chin is tucked, tailbone is dropping. So anything I've just shared, anything at all, breath here. And then let that go. And let's all roll to the right. And on an exhale, bring yourselves all the way up to sitting. Just take a moment here. I want to sit here with my feet wide apart. Okay, gonna adjust the ponytail. I was looking in the mirror today out of total vanity, and I saw more gray hair just like above my ears, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And I always said that whenever I get gray, I'm going to go wild with my hair. So we'll have to see what happens next. Okay, so my feet are nice and wide, and I've got my hands just below my knees. And as we exhale, let's round, chin is tucked. And then as you inhale, belly first, then chest, then throat. And exhale, round. Now really get that spine to move. And let's do two more. And here comes the last one. That feels so good. And come up to sitting upright. So if you're able to cross your legs now, you can also sit up on a block, see what feels good for you. We're going to take our left hand over to our right knee or to the right side and take your right hand behind you and push it down into the mat and roll that right shoulder back. Really roll it back firmly. Now lift up that torso, take an inhale. And as you exhale, rotate. Hold there. Remember, no sharp pain here. Instead, we're rotating from the very deepest places in the belly. And we're trying to work that up through the spine. When you hold a rotation like this is where change occurs. We're going to hold for 3 more breaths. Here's a quote by Khalil Gibran: "Life without liberty is like a body without spirit. So many people in the world don't have all of that sense of liberty and freedom. And then come back to center and just take a moment, just breathing. Whew. And then let's take the right hand over to the left knee, left hand behind. Now really lift that spine here, very important. And on an exhale is when you find your rotation. Your inhales are the elongation. Try to really open up the left chest by rolling the shoulder back. Hold here. What is that other quote? Yeah, we rise up by lifting others. We rise up ourselves by lifting others. Oh, and then come back to center. Let's release those legs out in front of us. Move those knees. You could be certainly in a Dandasana like I am, trying to be as upright as possible, but we're not going to stay there. We're coming right into boat pose. You're like, what? Fire here. We're adding all these fire exercises today. Best time is earlier in the day, really working digestion, working that sense of kind of getting us out of that stagnation. So many people feel stagnant. There's so much chaos in the world, so much. Hold a little bit longer, gaze up, and rest. Rest with your head just dropping. Okay, so now we're going to drop our knees to the right, okay? And your left foot can be anywhere, and you're more on your right hip, okay? And that's natural. You could be also up on a blanket. And then let's turn our torso over the right knee. So we're getting ready for dolphin diving. I love this pose, this flow. So as we exhale, we pull the navel in and skim the nose to the knee, and then inhale and come back up. And so try to feel that undulation of the spine. Keep the arms wide and press the fingertips into the floor. It's a deep exhale each time you go down. Don't even bother counting, just be with the flow. This is so good for the upper back. Then come up and stay there. I'm really pushing into fingertips. My elbows are slightly bent. My torso is straight and leaning over the right knee. Hold here, breathing. Now, those who want to go deeper, work the hands further forward. They could also be on a block. And those who can go the deepest, you bring your chest right down to that leg. Drop your head. Relax into this pose. This is a really safe way to open the back of the hip and into the low back area. And then come back up. We're going to stay on this side though. We're going to take our right hand, our palm, and put it down onto the floor. Left hand on left hip. Okay. So you can stay here hanging out or lift that left leg. Okay. And you could stay there or start to straighten it and bend it. Each time you straighten it, it's totally straight, and then bend it. And if you want to, lift the left arm. So this is a dolphin flow here. Oh yeah. And let's do 2 more times. And after that second time, just hold it. See if you can hold it. You can always put it down, right? And then come back up. Woohoo! Let's take those feet in front of us before we go to the other side. Boat pose. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh yeah, we have this above ground pool that we put in a couple years ago, just like when the pandemic was starting. And I've been jumping in it like throughout the day. It's so wonderful. It's like 90 degrees, but I don't like water very cold at all. And then rest. just let your head go. It's just a little jobby, but it just gives me so much pleasure. And then come back up and let's drop our knees now to the left. So what gives you pleasure, right? Like, what is that piece? We want to try to seek it out. Okay, let's turn our torsos. Let's adjust those hands. And as you exhale, skim the knee and come back up and continue here. You're exhaling to come down and inhaling to reach up. Let's do a couple more. Creating freedom in the body, and then come up and hold. So I'm leaning forward with the straight spine. I'm pushing fingertips strongly into the mat. Then you can stay there or start to walk the arms forward and drop the torso down. Let the deep breath just occur. Because as we create more freedom in the body, yes, we start to breathe more deeply. And come back up. Let's take the left palm down, right hand, right hip, okay? And then here we go, lift the leg if you want, okay? And then start to straighten and bend. You could also lift the arm if you want. So for me, this side's a little, like the knee is a little funky, but I'm really working with the strengthening around it. And let's do 2 more times. Here's the last time. Can you hold it there? Hold it. And release. Woohoo! Let's bring those legs forward again. Before we go into our final boat pose, sit in Dandasana, okay? I'm on the forward part of my sits bones. I've got my legs as straight as possible, whatever works for you, toes towards your face. You can start with your hands pressing down to get the chest right, but then see if you can remove them to your lap, and then see if you can lift them up. This is a wonderful pose for working with your breath, working with those nice deep inhales. Then take your palms down, fingers to the side, and take a reverse plank. Another good pose for the breath. And come back down, adjust for a moment, and then bring yourself to that final boat pose for today, I promise. Holding there, some of you might want to advance it, palms together, index fingers extended, working towards straightening the knees, holding there, breathing. Then wherever you're at, start to lift the arms up and drop back to Dandasana. Reach up those arms. Oh yeah. And release. So we're getting ready for Paschimottanasana, west end stretch. And we're all going to do it with our knees bent to begin with. And if you notice me, I've got mine bent quite a bit because I'm going to lift my my spine, my chest, and drop it right to my thighs, doing the best I can. And then for me, I hold my feet, but you might hold your ankles, okay? And some of you might have your strap. See what works for you. So for me, this is pretty comfortable. Shoulders are down. Now, if it's really comfortable, start to walk your feet further forward. Try not to let your chest come off of the thighs. That's hard to do. And then walk further if you can. Stop wherever you have to. And I'm continuing to walk. I can almost get to fully straight, not quite. And breathe here. Try to drop your forehead down. West end stretch. And release back up. Oh yeah. Okay, let's check in with those hips again. So bend your knees, feet super wide apart, lean back a tiny bit and check in with those windshield wipers. For me, there's finally more symmetry. Okay, and that's what we're looking for over time, of course. Maybe never, it's okay too, right? And let's turn ourselves now to all fours. Oh yeah. And on the exhale, round, tuck your chin. And on the inhale, reach. So cat cows on your own. That feels so good. Let's do about 3 or 4 more. And one more time. Then come back to neutral, curl toes under, and bring it to downward facing dog. Everybody start with your knees deeply bent. You're palming the mat, fingers are spread, tipping sits bones up, broadening shoulders, then slowly straightening little bits through the knees. Use your breath here. Now listen to my instructions. Inhale to plank. Hold there. Remember, your feet can be wider apart, makes it a little easier. Soften the knees. Exhale to downward dog. Now let's do that one more time. Inhale to plank. Hold and breathe. Then bend those knees. Exhale to downward facing dog. And then bring your knees down and take it back to child pose of your choice. Okay, what feels good for you? I like to have my knees apart. You decide what's good for you. But rest your forehead on something. Breathe up and down the spine. It feels so good. Now, take an inhale right up to knees. Knee stand, reach up. And on the exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here. Now, here we go on the second breath. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Challenging to do. Inhale forward and up to a high cobra. And on the exhale, all the way back to an extended child pose. So the elbows are stretched forward. Take a couple breaths. Now I want you to really activate your belly here. And here we go. Inhale right up to knee stand, reach up. Exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Take your time. 2 breaths. Here we go. The bottom of the second breath. Exhale, knees down, chest and chin. Inhale, glide forward and come up with the upper body. Hold your breath. Exhale. All the way back in extended child pose again. Really reach those hands forward. We have one more here. Let's do our best. Here we go. Inhale up to Naga, the snake goddess. Exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Really stretch. Take a couple breaths here. Now the bottom of the second, here we go. Knees, chest down between hands, chin down. Inhale, glide forward and up, shoulders back and down, hold your breath. And this time, exhale all the way down to the mat and rest. So what we just did there, that 8-part bow, is a very old format for doing actual sun salutations. You hardly ever see it anymore. Oh yeah, but it puts together everything we've already done. It puts together all parts of the spine. Let's see, somewhere here I have a quote from John F. Kennedy. The great revolution in the history of man, past, present, and future, is the revolution of those determined to be free. Oh, and we're seeing that right now so much, and I really support it in all ways. Okay, legs are wide apart. Take your palms down equal to shoulders, or chest is a little more advanced, and take them wide. Now keep the legs nice and firmly down, as well as the pelvis. And here we go. Inhale, lift to cobra. Exhale, come down. That slowly. Here we go again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Do 2 more on your own and hold the last one. As you start to hold this last one, feel the chest open, elbows are pulling back. Feel the glutes on fire, feel the legs nice and strong. And then come all the way down and rest again. Ideally, forehead on the backs of your hands, taking nice deep breaths. You could glide your hips. And then getting ready for Shalabhasana, locust pose. We start with our legs together. Remember, that could shift. Chin to the mat. Here we go. Upper and lower together. Inhale. Exhale. Everything's working. Here we go again. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more on your own and hold that last one. Hold this last one. Open that chest. Lift those legs higher. And let go. Woo. Glide those hips. You could turn your head to one side if that feels good. You decide. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to get everything in place here. I'm not sure how good I'm going to do on this today. And we're going to plant our palms as though we're going to get ready for a cobra, but we're going to have our legs a little further apart because we're going to try to pop up to a plank pose. Okay, so here we go. Toes curled under. Exhale, up. Hold and breathe. Broaden your chest. Broaden your whole torso. Breath here. Holding. Relax your jaw. Then knees come down and take it back to a wide knee child pose. Just drop it down. At this point, if you want to, your arms could come back by your feet if that feels good. Breathing up and down the spine. We're stretching the low back right now. And then bring yourselves up to sitting onto heels. I like to bring my knees a little more forward. Turn your fingers backwards, push them down, and lift up those hips. Hold here and breathe. And release. Let's plant the palms. Let's curl toes under. Then walk your hands back towards your knees and push till your feet are flat. From here, come up to a chair pose. So we make sure your knees are pointing forward here. Chair pose. Palms face each other. Hold a little bit longer. Look down at your toes. Make sure they're not crunching. Come up a little bit and open the arms. Utkatasana. We're going to try our best to come up to toes. Inhale right up to toes. Hold and breathe. And back down. Just take a moment just to feel that. So good. So we started low today, which is very, very good for grounding. Let's widen up our feet as wide as the mat, and we're going to clasp behind. So if clasping behind doesn't feel good, use your strap, okay? Roll your shoulders back now, and you're going to bend those knees. Take an inhale first, and on the exhale, fold forward with bent knees and just let the head hang, eyes open, breathing here. Those who want to could straighten your knees. Now bend those knees deeply again and inhale all the way up, stretch up. And as you exhale, let go. Woo. And let's just move a bit. Okay, so now we're up standing, right? Like, whoa. And just kind of notice, where is the freedom right now in your body? And maybe where is there not freedom, right? What little pieces are you feeling that are going, whoa? Okay, I definitely get that in different ways. Oh, I finally have I have little things on the floor here. I have my women's yummy yoga retreat, which is coming up in January, the first time, and many people have already signed up. We have just, I think, maybe four slots left. And so I'm going to send it out to everybody, and it's also going on my website today. So definitely contact me if you want to join us. It's going to be fun. So needed right now. All right, tree pose. It's time for tree pose. Okay, where's it going to be? I love it. I love watching all of you move around like, okay, where am I going to do this? On the floor, on the mat, where do I want to be? Touch a wall, touch a chair. Left leg will be your standing leg, okay? So find your pose. We're going to hold this. Check in with all of those parameters that you've heard a million times. Focus on a long exhale. Take your arms wherever they'll be comfortable to support this pose. So the inner awareness is scanning the body, looking for those places that might need a little extra stability, looking to send breath through the body. Just 3 more breaths. And come out. Once out, just stand, palms face forward. If it feels good, close your eyes. Okay. Other side. I was thinking about everybody last night in this class, and I was thinking I'm already grieving that I won't be with all of you this summer. Because it's really beneficial for me as well. Nice deep breaths. Hold this pose. Become that big, beautiful tree. Just reaching your canopy out there and reaching the roots deep into the earth. Just think about that. Let's take 3 more breaths. That's the hardest part. Stay with it. And come back out. Samastiti, even balance pose. Let the eyes rest. And then just release. Just release. What feels good? What sort of movement would feel really good right now? For me, it's just kind of swaying side to side. All right. Let's come up to the fronts of our mats. Palms together. That sense of welcoming you. And on an inhale, reach up nice and tall. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come partway up, stretch. It should feel very good right now. And now as you exhale, drop the torso, right leg back, find your lunge pose. Try to keep that back knee lifted if you can. Hold your breathing. Then plant the right palm. And if you see me, you'll see I even have it off my mat a little bit. As you open up the left chest, the left arm. Breathe here. Try not to throw your head back though. The chin should stay tucked. And then come all the way back to center. And we're going to put that back knee down and relax those back toes. And on the exhale, bring the hips back, working to straighten the front knee, little bits at a time, and lifting the torso at a diagonal forward. So I'm on fingertips. You could certainly have a block. Hold your breathing. Then if you can, keeping the left hip pulling back, try to drop the chest, the forehead towards that front knee. And come back forward to lunge with the back knee down. Okay, so we're going to give this a try. I have to always think about it. We're going to lean into your left palm, which comes off the mat. Okay, so there's quite a bit of width here. So it comes off the mat. Lean into it. So you're leaning onto your right side. And then if you can, get a hold of your right foot and open your chest. So if you need to have a look at me, you can see I've got my right foot. I'm pulling it towards my butt, opening my chest. If you can't get that foot to come up, no problem. You can just open your left arm back behind you and release. Woo. Okay, from here, we're stepping back forward. Take an inhale, part way up. Exhale, release with bent knees. And on an inhale, reverse swan, come all the way up, all the way, stretch. And right back to heart space. Just take a moment. And then here we go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come part way up, stretch your body. And now as you exhale and drop, left leg back. Okay, this is where you really want a nice long stand here, okay? Take your left palm down to the mat or just slightly off the mat and open up your right arm, your right chest. Breathing here. This really strengthens arms, by the way. And then come back to center. Let's drop that back knee down and start to bring it back. Ardha, half Hanuman, half split. Take your time here. Just start by stretching the torso forward. And then if you want to go that next step, you keep the right hip coming back as you drop the torso and the forehead down. You could even walk your fingertips forward, making it a little more challenging. And then come back forward. So I'm going to turn sideways in case you have to have a better look at what I'm doing here. So I'm on this lunge. Now I'm going to take my left hand off the mat, quite a ways, like maybe 10 inches off the mat, so I can lean into that hand. Okay. Then from here, you could just take your right arm back, just like I'm showing. Or if you're able to, bend that left knee, get the foot with your right hand, and then open up the chest. Oh, yeah. And release. Once again, exhale to come to standing and let that head drop. And then inhale, reverse swan, all the way up, stretch up, and right back to heart. Just take a moment to feel all the different changes that we've got going on. I feel it tingling through my body. Let's go into the left side, left leg, and on an inhale, open to stork and just hold here, just hold. Remember, you can always put your toe on a block. Now, inhale, arms come up, and on the exhale, push that leg straight out, hold again. Then bend that knee. This is getting a little harder. Take the knee back, just part way, and open the arms. Really opening the chest here. That's what we're doing. So you could stay here, or if you got it in ya, take yourself to flight here. Bringing in bird takes flight. Drop the right hip slightly down. Breathe here. For me, the hardest part is coming. Bend that knee. Bring it back through, arms up, and come back to earth, palms together. Just take a moment to notice how that felt. So for me, that felt really grounded because we did so much grounding exercises before that. See how that is for you though. Here we go, other side. Right leg, open up. Notice the sort of self-talk you give yourself. Try to be kind and gentle. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, push out that leg. Hold here, breathing. Low belly's in strong. Bend that knee. Take it back as you open the arms. So here's a great place to just stop and hold. Otherwise, for the rest of you, join me in taking flight. Keep that left hip slightly dropping. Breathe here. Also, your right knee could be slightly bent if that's helpful. Then come back through. Lift the arms up and come back down, palms together at heart space, at heart space. And then release those arms. And we're going to widen up the legs again. I have my feet about as wide as the mat. Most of you are taller than me, so they could even be wider. And then bend your knees a little and clasp again. Okay, roll those shoulders back. So you could choose to stay here or come along with me and drop the torso. Let your head hang, eyes open. Try to roll those shoulder blades towards each other behind you. Some of you can straighten your knees little bits at a time. Then bend deeply through the knees and inhale, back up, stretch up, and take an exhale backwards. And come back up. Let's just lightly roll those shoulders and move a little bit. I don't know about you, but I just noticed as I was doing that I have more freedom in my rib cage up here. It's been kind of tight lately. I've been just kind of sad just about everything going on in the world right now. So that feels really good. Okay, so now we're going to find some openness on our mats. Okay, so I'm widening up. You know, I do a square, a cross with two mats. I really love that. And I'm going to keep my block nearby on its highest end for triangle pose. It's up to you if you want to use it. Turn out your right leg, the whole leg turns out, and push back your left foot, okay, the left heel. And then check in, okay? I'm trying to have my knees straight. I'm going to put my block right by my big toe, okay? And we're going to reach the arms out, release the shoulders, and then glide yourself to triangle pose. You can certainly put the arm along the leg, or you can take that block and press into it really firmly. So I've gotten a lot more length lately doing this. So I've got it on the second level. And as you push into it, the other arm should lift more fully. You also want to check in with your sides of your ribs. You want them as nice and straight as possible so you're not collapsing. Breathing here. Big toe is pressing down, outer heel is pressing down. And come back up. And right away, come to Warrior Two, Virabhadra Two. Which for me, after doing that triangle, I feel more openness through this front of the groin area. And we're not going to stay there. We're going to take it right to side angle pose. Really find that nice length through your body. So I've chosen to take my arm alongside the head and reach it. We're going to stay 4 more breaths. So some of you might want to do a bind with it. See what feels good. And then take the inhale back up to Warrior Two. Settle in with the exhale, because your next inhale is Reverse Warrior. Powerful pose. So you could advance it by trying to straighten the front knee. And you'll notice you get a little more motion through the ribs. This will help with the lungs for those of you with lung issues right now. And so many people have them for all different reasons. And come back to Warrior Two. From here, hands on hips, straighten your legs, turn your toes to face the front. Take a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, bend right at the groins. The spine stays straight. Come just part way. So I'm about halfway here. If you feel like you can't support that easily, take your block and push your hands into it right now. Otherwise, hold here, belly's in strong, and try to come down deeper. You could always widen your legs. And finally, try to drop the top of your head down towards the floor, and your hands come down. Your palms come right down to the floor, elbows pointing backwards, breathing here. And then come back up, all the way up. And if you have to walk it in a tiny bit, please do. But we're going to turn out now to the left side. Left leg, adjust the back foot. I'm going to find my block. I'm going to have it on the second level. See what works for you. And then take your triangle pose here. The other thing about pressing into something is that it'll help this lower side, the left side of your ribs, be able to lengthen. A lot of people want them to just kind of collapse. So you want to really be working both sides of the rib cage here. Once again, check in big toe, outer heel, so that the whole leg is working fully. And then inhale, come back up. And as you exhale, drop more fully to Warrior Two. We're not going to stay though. We're going to start to take it to side angle pose. It could be a small pose like you see I'm showing. I've got the forearm down, hand on the hip, or start to make it a bigger pose for you. We're going to stay here a bit, so see what you might want to try. And then start to inhale back up. Exhale. Virabhadra Two, find that pose. Now let's take it to the reverse. What does this side want? It might not want a straight front leg. See what you can do to get the lower part of the rib cage to expand more fully. So you're breathing into that area. That's where the respiratory diaphragm is. And then back to Warrior Two. Straighten legs, turn your feet forward again. You could even slightly turn them inwards. Okay. And once again, straight spine, hands on hips, come part way down. Right there. That's the hard part. You got to really lift your belly in. This time, though, looking forward of your mat, take your palms forward and plant them to the side edges at the front of your mat or even further away from you. Keep your heels down, drop your head, broaden your chest, lift up your sits bones, wide leg, downward dog. Breathe here. Right between the shoulder blades, you're trying to drop that down towards the floor. Then slowly start to walk your hands in, maybe heel and toe in a little bit, and come up carefully all the way to standing. And then either take a slight jump to bring your legs together or heel toe in. And just stand there, just feeling, is there more freedom through this body? And let's just move a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to play with an expansion of a pose we've already played with in the past. Okay, it's been a bit though. So I want you to watch me first. So this is how it looks. We've already played with this part where we lift up and we hold this knee tightly up and we try to be really straight. And we could also have our butts to the wall, okay? But instead of doing the forward head to knee, we're going to instead take the same side arm to maybe the inner, to the ankle here, or some of you can get the toes, and you're gonna try to open out, okay? So you could also just be like this and like this, okay? Ideally though, you're gonna open out, and then at the last moment when I say start to come out, you're gonna let it go, bring it to the front and down. Oh, okay? So you can do that whole thing with your butt to the wall. You can do the whole thing sitting in a chair. Check this out. You could do this sitting in a chair and working it like that, okay? So choose whatever side you want. We are going to stay on the one side for a while. That means you could come in and out. Yeah, I see. Holly's got it, man. Looks so good. So find it, find a part of it. Remember, the arm goes to the inside. Could be like this. The other arm is out, which helps give you balance. Ideally, you got a nice open leg, belly's in strong. Look at those beautiful poses. So we're going to start to come out, bring it to the front and down. And just hold and breathe. Oh, yeah. And get ready for the other side, which I'm not going to do because I already did it to demo. Yeah, so find the other side. Remember, it could be at a wall. I love how some people are touching a wall or your back to a wall looks really good. You could be seated in a chair. It is the pose, okay? And then find that pose. Try to stay with it. Yes, stay with it by working on the long exhale into the low belly. That's okay if you fall out. Come back. Nice. Very nice control, Anne. Looks really good. Look at that, Mary. Excellent. Hold a little bit longer. Nice. And then start to come out by letting it go, bringing it to the front and down. Beautiful. And just stand, palms together. That pose, I really believe, can only be done when we have a really open chest, really open lungs. And that's why we worked with so many things here today. Take some nice deep breaths. And then release those hips. And so you're going to have a choice. You can go back into the same set or choose another standing balance pose, whatever feels good for you. Okay. If you're doing the same set, maybe try it with a different prop helping you, whatever it is. You're going to go to the one side now We're going to stay for about 30 seconds, so not really long. And I'll just be quiet. So find what feels right for you. Beautiful. Very nice. I love your choices. And we're going to start to come out now. And just stand. We have choice, which is wonderful. We do have choice. And you want to see, what does the body want, right? And now come to the other side. Take your time, whatever it is. Beautiful. So beautiful to see all of you. Nice. And we're going to start to come out. Take your time. Stand with feet apart, palms forward. You could also be leaning back to a wall. And just breathe. Just breathe. And then from here, keeping the legs pretty wide, let's bend at the knees. I'll turn sideways and pop your butt back a little, one hand each knee. As you exhale, round the spine deeply. As you inhale, reach the chest. Let's do a few of these. And then bring yourselves down, all the way down to the mats. What would feel good for you today as far as coming down? And once down, and if you do have that rolled blanket, get it in your vicinity. Okay, once down, we're gonna come onto our backs, but if you want to, see, we did this a few weeks ago. See how I've got it long enough for my whole torso and head. Okay, oh yeah. And I'm gonna keep my knees bent, but really wide. And we're gonna take 10 nice deep breaths in this restorative form of a chest opener. And once again, I want you to focus on breathing into the lower ribs. You want to have your back of your neck nice and long, your head resting, and then breathe into the lower part of the rib cage. So that every time you inhale, it's like you can flare out the lower rib cage. And every time you exhale, you let it just drop back in. Close your eyes to do this. You could have your legs any way you want. I just bring my feet bottoms to touch each other, opening my knees. Slowing the exhale down. Many of us forget how important it is to work with the breath until something happens. Then you go, oh my gosh, I'm not breathing right. So breathing slow and fully helps us to come to that personal freedom. And let's just take a couple more breaths. And then you decide, you might want to stay like this for final relaxation, maybe straightening the legs nice and wide, maybe not. Or you might want to come off of that bolster and lay yourself all the way down. You might want to put your legs up on a chair. It's up to you. It's totally up to you. That is the beauty of doing these classes together. We don't all have to be the same. And we'll take a handful of easy, light exhales. Just letting the body really meet the earth. knowing you've done some really good work here today for yourself. We can't serve others if we haven't helped ourselves. I learned that the hard way a long time ago, overextending myself over and over for others. We have to first nourish ourselves. And then we'll start to come out of this smaller Shavasana today, knowing that you can go back to it at any time you want. You can even stay in it right now if you'd rather. But for those of you who are coming out now, remember to come out easily, lightly. Remember to be kind and gentle to yourself and to your movements as you start to bring yourselves up to sitting. Once up, we're going to take all fingertips together and make a ball. Hakini Mudra, the balancing, the beauty of the 5 elements. Earth and water, fire and air and space. We are made up of all of that as well as everything on this earth. And then take these words in from Rumi. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. And we'll take our palms together and a nice full exhale. Inhale. Whoa. Om Shanti, Om Peace. Namaste, namaste on a day to really contemplate freedom.